Okay, Sean, can you hear me okay?
You're good.
Coach, you hear me okay? All right. Well, Coach, congratulations on the win. If you could please start us off with some opening thoughts and comments, big picture, and then we'll take questions from there.
Well, our defense was really good again. Continue to go out there and, as we struggled offensively, they kept their head up and made plays. We're obviously putting the ball on the ground too much offensively. We're going to have to clean that up. Find a way to finish the game. We were able to put a drive together there to end the game, but we're going long periods of time and not being in sync offensively. So we've got a lot of work in that area. I thought our special teams was excellent again. I feel like that at a certain time we were a little bit undisciplined with penalties, even though they were like Peels was a little unusual, but we got to back off on some of the offsides, become a little bit more disciplined. But we found a way to win. Again, defense continued to get stops and gave us an opportunity to win a football game.
Thanks, Coach. If you have a question for Coach Gundy, please click raise hand. Our first question is going to come from Garen Emig from Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
Mike, how close was Spencer to playing today?
He could have played. I'm not saying he can run like he would have run, but I hate when people put percentages on anything, but 80% maybe. It would have been better for him and us if he didn't play today, but he could have.
How would you say Shane did just off the top?
Average. What would be somewhat expected for a true freshman?
Our next question comes from Joseph Fazio from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, Coach, the defense was really able to get pressure on Jared Dagey during this game, especially from players like Calvin Bundage and Amon. What did you just think of those two linebackers in this game today?
It looks like they played well. There were a number of times that we influenced the quarterback. I don't know if it'll show up statistically because he got rid of the ball right before we hit him. You guys might know better than me, but I bet we got at least 10 hits on him today. Sometimes those count. He sat in the pocket. I'll give it up to him. He sat in there and took a lot of hits today, but our backer pressure was really good.
I know you were probably in the locker room when it's happened at halftime, but just what did you think about the celebration for Thurman Thomas and getting his name and number up in the rafters of Boone Pickens Stadium?
Well, the Ring of Honor is something that I've pushed for a long time, and we've got a number of really, really, really qualified football players that have come out of this place that can go in the Ring of Honor. So we won't be short with guys to put in the Ring of Honor. And I told the team and other people, my fondest memories of Thurman are him as a practice player. He practiced harder, just as hard as anybody I'd ever been around. And he went full speed all the time. Took pride in it, and that's why he played the way he played, and that's why he was a tough guy.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Coach, you talked about pressure in the quarterback. There's 9 quarterback hurries today, 11 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and 6 pass breakups.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. I didn't have the number, but I knew there was a lot of hits on the quarterback, and eventually that's going to wear a guy down.
Our next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Mike, LD Brown had another big game for you guys. What do you think about the way he's been able to start this season in these first 2 games?
I'm just thrilled with him and his ability to protect and his ability to rush the football. He started to cramp up a little bit today, but, it's almost like he just said, hey, I'm a senior. I'm going to roll with it this year. I'm going to play lights out. And his attitude, the smile on his face, and his willingness to compete's been awesome.
I know you talked about Shane's performance being average, but on that last drive, that's a pretty big situation for a freshman to be in.
Sure.
With everything being online. How do you think he handled that situation?
Yeah, and when I say average, I mean, if we're going to grade him based on a college quarterback not being a freshman, that's why he fell into the average category. For a true freshman being out there, he played okay, and there's times that he made mistakes, but there was times that he did make some big plays. All that's going to take time. I mean, the guy's young. So we found a way to win. And that's what's important right now. We certainly have a lot of work ahead of us, and we don't need to cancel practice, but we at least found a way to win.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, last couple questions for Coach Gundy. The next one is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Mike. Chuba had a couple fumbles and at times seemed to struggle. How would you evaluate Chuba through 2 games and after today?
Well, it's not good when you put the ball on the ground, and he knows that, and he's got to do a better job of taking care of the football. He did come back in late and made a cut and made a score, and did good for us, but this is not a secret. He needs to take care of the football, and we have to have him healthy, rushing the ball, taking care of the football in order for us to be a good offensive football team.
Is he banged up a little bit?
No, he's fine.
Okay. And you got Dez Jackson in there too. What'd you think of Dez today? That was the first opportunity to see him carry the ball.
Yeah, it looked like he got about, I guess, only saw 2 or 3 plays. And the times he was in, looks like he got downhill and tried to rush through there and get the yards that he could get. Depending on the weather and the health, he's a guy that can rotate in a little more.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
All right, our final question for Coach Gundy is going to come from Garen Emig from the Tulsa World. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, just until you do get into a more of a flow this season, just the importance of making plays when you have to make them. And that's not just, that doesn't seem to just be coming up here in your game today, but all over the country if we're learning anything early. Just address that and just your players' willingness to do what's necessary until, again, you guys get into things.
It would be like us trying to explain the virus. It's a very unusual season. The conditioning of the teams is unusual. The makeup, the focus is different than it ever has been. I've not been involved in anything like this and just watching what happens during the week and on the field. So the point you're bringing up is exactly right. So you just got to find a way to win somehow. And it's not pretty. I mean, I've been here 16 years as a coach, and that's not how you draw it up. But it's just an unusual year, and it's different than it ever has been. And so the guys have to find a way to win a football game and make enough plays. And then we have to keep coaching simplicity, high reps, try to put them in a position to win football games.
Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for questions for Coach. But before we let you go, Coach, do you have any final thoughts, any messaging that you want to be able to say here while we've got everybody?
Well, I'm glad we're back out here. I know people are getting canceled across the country, and I will again say that our medical staff and our players, I just told our players again in the locker room, for us to continue to have negative positives, I'm shocked. Now, I'm not so naive to think that that's going to stay that way. Percentages tell us that guys are going to start to get it here and there, but they've been very disciplined. Our medical staff's had great information, and our players have done a good job of protecting themselves and helping to protect the society here in Stillwater. So I'm very proud of them for that and the way that they've worked hard to try to help each other out. And we're looking forward to another week of practice and getting to play another football game. Y'all stay safe.
Congrats on 2-0, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Coach Dunn, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Doing
Congrats
well.
on the win.
Oh my gosh.
Got a little hairy there at times.
Yes, it did.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll just open it up right to questions. So if you have a question for offensive coordinator Kasey Dunn, please click raise hand and we'll get right to you. Our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Kasey, how are you?
Good, Jay.
Good. Hey, 41 running plays today and 21 throws for Shane. Obviously, you've got good running backs, but was that just to try to ease him in as much as possible, ease Shane in as much as possible today?
Oh, of course. You know, I mean, he's a pup and just kind of getting used to some things out there. The nice thing is for us, we have a really good defense. And what you don't want to do is screw that up and turn one over and create a situation where you're scoring points against yourself. So, you know, I thought we did that today. There were a couple of times where the ball's loose and on the ground. We got to get that cleaned up. Those are the things that really bother me. It's not the aggressiveness or anything like that. we want to be an aggressive football team, but sometimes the situation doesn't allow for it or call for it. We got a puppy at quarterback, and we've got a really, really stout defense right now. So, it's one of those games you can grind it out. It feels like you're playing old school SEC football.
The throw that he made to Tylen there on that third down play in the fourth quarter, that seems like, obviously he is still so young, but if that's the kind of thing you can get out of him, that looks like a pretty good arm you've got out there. Yeah,
he can throw the ball. There's no doubt. It's just a matter of, when and where and all that kind of stuff, making the right decisions and some of those things. So we just got to be careful with him, not to ask him to do too much and give our defense a chance to keep us in that football game. And we'll pop some with our guys. I'm not worried about that. Just, back-to-back weeks here, we really didn't crease anything, in the receiving game, and score. We took a shot that first play of the game. I thought we had one going yard right there and just barely missed it. But we'll keep taking our shots, and eventually these playmakers that we have will get an opportunity to get some daylight and get out of there. Let's go score.
Kasey.
You bet. See you, Jen.
Our next question comes from Jason Elmquist from the Stillwater News Press. Go ahead, Jason.
How you doing, Kasey?
Good. This is Jason.
Now, talk about how you felt LD Brown has performed, especially these first 2 weeks. There's been times in years past where you'd get one good game, but then kind of almost regress, dancing in the backfield and whatnot. Getting back-to-back performances from him like you guys have so far.
It's great you brought that up because I was just talking to him about that same thing. He went back-to-back with high-level performances for us, and it just goes back to coaching. You talk about this all the time, and that is you're going to practice or you're going to play how you practice. And he practiced really well all the way through fall camp. Was energetic, hit guys in the mouth in protection, ran the ball hard, all the little things. And, it's showing up for him now on game day. And I could not be more happier for that young man because he definitely deserves it the way that he, has attacked this season. So I'm really excited for LD and excited to see what he's got next week too.
Can you talk about the process of coming up with the play call on that third and long on the final drive? You going with the halfback draw, how much of it was because that he'd been having success running the ball as well?
Well, we wanted to spread it out and try and get as much space out there as possible. They were playing a pretty good umbrella defense, and so just created some seams inside, make one miss, and we created an opportunity to go get a big number. Kind of did the same thing last week too, spaced it out a little bit on a third and long and increased them on a little bit of a run game call inside. So it worked for us last week. We went back to it again this week. It was good. And again, LD, delivered. So it's nice. And he's taking care of the football too. So very happy about it.
Thanks, Kasey.
You bet.
Our final question for Kasey Dunn is going to come from Sudit Tuma from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Sudit.
Hey, Coach. As a play caller, how much does it help you when you can take Chuba Hubbard off the field and add LD Brown there?
Oh, it helps a ton. You don't feel like, you've got to go to a different set of play calls or anything like that. So you just call football the way it is. You call the run game the way that you want to. There's no changing what we do when those two guys are running football the way that they are. I don't know for sure, but I think, if someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they both went over 100. That's what I heard, which is a great deal. We needed it today, and it was a 15 play, I think, somewhere in there, at least, drive at the end of the game. And then, we had a couple nice plays in there in the throw game and some, but seriously, some good runs down the stretch. Very similar to how we finished last week. So there's a lot of promise. We got to clean up some things. We will, and we'll take care of it.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Coach, today was the first time since 2016, that road game at TCU, where we had two running backs go over 100 yards in a Big 12 game. If you remember.
That's fantastic. And it's nice to get a Big 12 victory on day one, too.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, congratulations on that. You did better than 2-0 through two games, right?
Thank you. Yeah, life is good. So going to go celebrate this one and not be a COVID-idiot. Stay at home.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking some time.
All right. See you guys.
Take care.
Go Pokes. Huh? Sir. What's up, dude? What's up? Good job, man. I'm good. Thank you.
Raise your hand if you made a big play in the fourth quarter today.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, happy for you, Tyler. And I'll tell you what, I think you already know the drill here of kind of how we do things. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it up to questions. So our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Tylen, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. Hey, the running game today had 2 guys over 100 and obviously a young guy at quarterback. How important was that for you guys offensively to be selective for when you were throwing the ball?
Definitely. I mean, that helps out a lot. Obviously, football-wise, if you can run the ball, then that brings the guys in the box, and then that means we can throw it deep. We can throw it deep, you can come back and run it. I think it's really a good thing to be able to balance both of those, and I think we did a good job of that today.
What did you see out of Shane today that might have been different than what you saw a week ago?
Yeah, he came in. He struggled a little bit, but I was happy the way he kind of held himself. He didn't get too down on himself. He didn't usually those freshmen, if they make a mistake, they kind of get down, they lose their confidence, but I didn't see that in him. So I'm really happy with the way he held himself.
Thanks, Tylen.
Our next question comes from Garen Emig from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
Tylen, congrats on the win, first of all. Hard-earned for sure. The play that you made there toward the end, I think typifies how things are kind of going right now. Everyone's trying to get into a flow and figure all this stuff out, and that goes for game day as well. Could you just address the importance of guys, despite the difficulties, just stepping up and making plays when they have to?
Oh, for sure. That's part of football. You're not always going to be able to just have games where everything goes as planned. You're going to face adversity, and we had a lot of that today. And I'm just happy that we fought till the end and we kept fighting all the way to the end. So, I couldn't ask for more than just guys making a play when their number's called.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Tylen, I'm kind of curious. What do you think of LD's touchdown celebration?
I loved it. I was kind of I didn't really know what it was at first. I was like, okay, that looks cool, I guess. And then I saw it on the video board, and I realized that was a little thing Thurman Thomas did. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. And I was like, that was really nice. I'm happy you did that.
What did it mean to you guys to have Thurman here today and to honor him?
Oh, it means a lot. Just having guys especially a guy like Thurman Thomas, one of the greatest to come out of here. It's really kind of an inspiration just to see guys like that come back to games and come and watch our games. And, I think it's a really good thing, but just when you see that, and that shows you the culture that we have here at Oklahoma State, that guys like that, some of the greatest to play the game come back and watch our games and come and support us. So I was really happy to see that.
Awesome. Thanks, Tylen.
All right, seeing no more questions for Tylen. Tylen, do you have any closing thoughts, anything that you wanted to say, anything that you wanted to talk about?
Just happy to be 2-0. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, well, we appreciate you and thankful for you for stopping and hanging out with us here for a little bit.
Well, thank you.
Take care. Trace, great work today.
Thank you.
Before we get going on questions, how about we open you up with some numbers here? Ready? So from the defense, 9 quarterback hurries, 11 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, a forced fumble recovery, and a touchdown. What's that to you?
Wow, that's a lot.
Well, good. You guys earned it. So we're going to go ahead and start taking questions here from the media. Our first question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Trace, congrats today. With those numbers in mind, what did you guys kind of see up front that you could get pressure on West Virginia so much?
I think last week really is a big reason why we did so good today up front. Coaches just pressed us about pass rushing all week at practice. We just practiced it a lot more throughout the week. And I think we just saw more keys to get around the blocks this time.
What do you remember about the strip sack you had that led to Tyron's touchdown?
Not much. I was so excited. I just know I got around and once that ball came out, I started going crazy. I didn't even know he scored.
When you guys get this kind of pressure, how dangerous are you guys?
I think we're extremely dangerous if we get the pressure we need with the backfield we have. I think our defense can do something special this year for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Trace.
Yeah.
Our next question is going to come from Joseph Fazio from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Joseph.
Hey, Trace, you got a lot of good pressure on Jared Dagey today, and so did guys like Eamon and really much of the linebacker core. Just what do you think about the linebackers' play today?
Amazing, as always. They always have our backs. They always come up when we need them. And Eamon and Malcolm, Devin, Calvin, I mean, I'm so happy we got those linebackers on our team, for sure.
Yeah, and, last year you didn't get to play with Calvin, and just what have you seen from him, coming off his injury and, getting a lot of playing time and, getting 2 sacks today?
That's just a glimpse. I know he's going to do a lot more this year. He's a freak. He's out there at practice like a madman. I know he's special, and he's going to do a lot more.
All right, thanks, Trace.
Our next question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Trace, how are you?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, the offense basically, they went pretty old school, ran the ball a lot, and Kasey said that was because, hey, he felt like he had a defense on the other side of the ball that could go and win the game. What does that mean for you guys to, have the confidence of the coaches like that?
It's an honor. I think the coaches know what the defense is bringing to the table, and the offense is going to pick it up. And they're doing good. They just have some bumps in the road that they're going to get fixed. And I think it's an honor that they think of the defense so highly in Big 12. You
are obviously a guy who moves around a lot, where you line up at the snap and stuff like that. What's the challenge of that for you? And I don't even know if you know how many different places you are at any given time in a game. But what is that like for you to see that from so many different angles?
I think it's fun, just being able to get off the rock many different places. I think sometimes it can be a little challenging, getting the signal, getting to my side of the field, running the play without errors. But I think it's exciting, and I'm happy I play video for sure.
Cool. Thanks, Trace.
All right, seeing no more questions for Trace Ford, we're going to go ahead and let him go. Trace, thanks so much. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
L.D. Brown.
What's down, baby?
I know you're feeling good right now.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Tired, but feeling good. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go ahead and take some questions, okay?
All right, let's get it, guys.
First question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, D, I want to start with a little fun one. Tell me about the celebration that you had in the end zone for Thurman.
It's Thurman Day, man. Just a little tribute to him. I talked to Rob Allen about it. I was like, man, if I score this week, I got to hit the cabbage patch. We seen him do it in the Sun Bowl. So it was just something, it was on my mental. And so when I got the crease and hit it and I scored, it just naturally, it happened. And the rep came up to me during the series and like, hey, I like the celebration. Just, I'm happy you didn't pose with it. So he didn't flag me for it. So all good.
That flag might have been worth it, though, right?
Yeah, it would have. Shoot, it's Thurman Day, so anything for him. So yeah, yes, sir.
Hey, you guys had 2 guys with 100 yards today. A little bit of a throwback on a Thurman Day, really. But what was behind that attack with you guys being so run heavy? You think?
O-line, man, just O-line. We knew we had a couple guys down, and they were facing adversity this week, and just to put trust in those guys, knowing that we could still be able to rush the ball and. They created creases today, and our job to hit them and do the rest, and that's all they did.
Chuba had a couple fumbles today too. Have you talked to him and kind of tried to maybe pump him up?
Yeah, I tell Chuba I'm a big brother, but yeah, y'all know, man, 30 is gonna be 30, and he's great. I just told him just get out of his head, man. He feel like he's not playing the way Chuba's playing in the first 2 games. I told him, man, it's okay. It's gonna pick up and just improve. This is a team sport, and at the end of the day, we got the W, and that's all that we care about. And it's going to improve, though. So he's good. He's going to be good.
Awesome. Thanks, LD.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Jacob.
Any referee that would say, "Hey, I like that celebration," he's got to have a little bit of old school soul to him, right?
Yeah, he knew what today was.
+1 for the referee.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
All right. So our next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, LD, to have the game that you did today, knowing that a Hall of Fame running back like Thurman Thomas was watching you, how much more special does that make today's performance for you?
Makes it real special, man. We got a chance to meet him actually yesterday, like during snack or whatever, and we got to take pictures with him and everything. So it was real special, man. He shared some knowledge with us and everything, and just knowing it was his day today, and we were wearing the Sun Bowl jerseys as well. We got the W. We did it all for him. So it was a big honor, man. We just tried to play our best and make him proud.
In that final drive you guys had, you took a ton of time off the clock. It was a very long drive. How important was that drive in order to seal the win?
Just giving our defense, I feel like our defense was on the field a lot today, and just giving our defense some time off, and just they played their butts off today. So just big ups to them, just taking as much time as we can, and we know they were going to get a stop. We trust them, and that's what happened. We got it at the end of the day, and Chuba scored to put the game away. So
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Frank.
All right. Our final question for LD is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, LD, I know you guys loved doing the throwback offense with Thurman in the house, but having a young quarterback making his first start, it was a little bit out of necessity too. How important was it for you, Chuba, and really the run game to be as good as you were today, just to ease Shane into things?
Yeah, just to ease him, man, just to knowing he don't have much to depend on his arm as much. Just our job is just get yards and break big runs as well, and that's what we did today. But big ups to Shane as well. The first play of the game, we took a shot, and it was almost caught. So we can trust him as well with the throwing, and at the end of the day, me and Chuba can do what we got to do on the ground as well.
Hey, Jacob asked you about the dance after the touchdown. I saw you do the splits at the end of the game. What was that all about?
That wasn't me. No, that was probably Sept. He a cute dog. It was probably Sept. Wrong zero. But yeah.
You guys wearing those matching numbers, you screwed me up.
That's college, but yeah, that was probably Sept though, knowing him. So yeah.
All right, gotcha. Thanks, LD.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy.
LD, my favorite thing about you is everyone who gets asked about you before you walk in the room, you don't know this, but every time they get asked about you, they all talk about how happy they are for you and how excited they are because of hard kinds of things. And I just felt like you should know that because everyone says the same exact thing.
And tell them I appreciate y'all, man. That's love. I thank y'all.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. Enjoy the win. Take care. Keep doing things the right way.
Gotcha. Appreciate it, Gavin.
All right.
Yours for your flooding.
Lee, my man had 4 pass breakups today.
Yes, sir.
That's a career high. Do you know that?
Nah, I was just informed it now.
Well, that's great stuff. I mean, as a group, you have 6 pass breakups. You help get 9 quarterback hurries. And it seemed like every pass they did complete, someone was draped all over them. So I think secondary perspective, you guys got a lot to be proud of today.
For sure.
All right. So let's take questions for Rodarius Williams. Our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Rodarius, how are you?
Doing awesome.
Good. Hey, talk about just this defense's development. I mean, obviously a week ago, we saw you guys play strong, but it's a Big 12 team and obviously, no small challenge there. What do you think about where you guys are 2 weeks in?
I think we're at a great point right now with so much behind us, with a lot of media, doubting us. And we saw the predictions. Everybody counted us out, People don't realize they really fuse the defense a lot, and we come in and watch film day in and day out. And each guy, like Gavin said, like anytime they caught the ball, we was right there. It's because film study, and we taking it serious, man.
What about the fact that Kasey Dunn said earlier they basically were willing to, maybe not go as high flying today with a young quarterback because he felt like the defense could win this game. What does that mean to hear that the coaches really have y'all's back? I mean, they believe what you guys can do.
Because one thing is that Coach Dunn sees us practice every day. You know, so he got the real intel on how physical and how fast is this defense play, man. We make it hard for those guys, even in practice. So he know front hand that this defense can step up at any moment and make a play, man. That's what we did today.
Cool. Thanks, Rodarius.
No problem.
Our next question is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Rodarius, take us a little bit through your day individually. You had some challenges. You were kind of all over the place. It felt like you were having to make plays in a lot of different areas of the field. Take us through what your day was like.
Just being a veteran guy in the back end, man, I know a lot of these guys depend on me even in the front end and even in linebacker position. They depend on me to make plays when I'm given an opportunity to make a play. And just from film study, man, I knew exactly what 13 was going to do before he even did it. You know, just coming from being a veteran and taking film serious, man, that's what we do on the back end.
How vocal are you among that group? Do you consider yourself one of the leaders back there that needs to step up and be a vocal guy, or are you more of a quiet guy on the back?
Oh, most definitely. I'm definitely a leader, you know. And Sept is doing a good job helping me become a leader, you know. With both of us, it's just on our guys, you know, we give up a pass, we tell them, keep your head in it, you know, stay close, and the play's going to be made.
Is there more pressure being that you feel like you guys got to make more stops in the way the season has gone so far?
It's definitely pressure on our back end, you know, because we come in the game saying, hey, we're going to have this X amount of yards being thrown at us. If they want to challenge us, we're going to accept the challenge. We're going to show up each and every game.
Thanks, Rodarius.
No problem.
Rodarius, congratulations on the win. You can't be better than 2-0 through 2 games. We appreciate you stopping and taking a little bit of time with us here today.
Thank you, guys.
All right, appreciate you. Have a good night.
You too.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Cheers. So we have big numbers here. I don't know if you got a chance to see them all yet, but 11 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback hurries, 5 sacks. I remember last game after Tulsa, one of the only points of criticism that you had, at least in the postgame, was we needed to get more pressure on the quarterback. How would you assess today's game?
Yeah, great in that area. You know, it was a big focus for us. We're always trying to get better. And that was something we worked hard on this week, and the players bought into it. You know, you have to be able to pressure the quarterback, and sometimes Big 12 play takes that thought process away from you, but I thought we got after it today.
Well, thank you. Our very first question here is going to come from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Pass pressure aside, what else stood out to you today?
You know, we gave up some big plays, you know, and certainly that's something we're working hard not to do. But the resiliency, you know, they were a good offense, good team. It's what we're going to see in the Big 12. And just the fact that our guys could continually bounce back to be put in tough situations, you know, and just to really continue to be willing to put the game on their back, you know, and one bad play doesn't lead to the next if you move on. So I thought we did a lot with, you know, getting corrections made, moving our strategy around, and, you know, it just seems to flow because we got experienced guys.
How important was that resiliency considering how much your defense was on the field?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was hot. It was hot. You know, we tried to play a lot of guys. I think that's what you're going to, you know, Coach Gundy said and continues to say, you know, we're not in good enough shape yet, but I don't know if anybody is. You know, but Coach Glass still working hard on it. But, you know, you just have to play one play at a time. I know it's a cliche, but that's what we sell. You know, you got to win the game on that play. And the last play doesn't matter and all those cliches, but I think you saw it out.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, Zoom is really a struggle sometimes, and the audio is not super coming off that computer. If you don't mind, Can you either get a little bit closer to the computer or maybe just speak a little bit louder? I think this is one of those Zoom things.
Right. You want me to start speaking louder, right?
Well, we appreciate you. I'll tell you what, hey, our next question is going to come from Garen Emig from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
Jim, how are you?
I'm good, Garen. Good to see you.
Yeah, always good to
Good
see
to
you.
see you, Garen. Am I on mute?
Well done. I knew you could come. I knew you'd come through in the clutch, Jim. You always do, yeah?
Wow. I can't say always. It's been certainly an education.
Yeah.
But, you know, you see some of the things that happened today around the Big 12, which I haven't had a chance to look at yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Just it's obviously going to be weird, especially at the outset until everyone sort of gets into a flow. If you're ever going to get into a flow, with that going on, just the importance of making a play, however and whenever you have to, just the need to make plays through all this weirdness.
One of the things I try to sell is see a little to see a lot. See a little to see a lot, you know, and that's what it really boils down to. Another cliche, you know, do your job, but everything that's going on around you boils down to, you know, where are your eyes? What are you looking at? What's your direction on that play? And you know, really focus. Now, this is easy. It's never easy, but it's easier because we have experienced guys who understand the system. So when I move pegs around, they react quickly, you know, coachable, you know, to be able to tell them one thing and see it on the field. It's a big deal. So there's no substitute for that experience.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Jenny. Jenny.
Good to see you. And I've never heard that Forrest Gump line ever before. Ever. Hey, you guys got pressure, which we talked about, but some early it seemed like the first half, tackling at sort of the point of contact was maybe not great, but second half, those guys cleaned it up. Did you see some improvement? Did you talk about that at halftime?
Yeah, it was a huge focus at halftime. You know, our tackling was so good in the first game. You know, in the COVID era, we probably tackled once or twice in camp, and our tackling was so good because we try to practice our tackling position even when we're not tackling, you know. And you're exactly right. We did not do a good job in the first half. And it was it's just a big, you know, all you can do is talk about it and just, and guys know and they understand. And that's that experience, you know, they know and they understand, and they're able to correct it.
Hey, on another note, Trace Ford obviously had the strip there that led to the touchdown. He seems to be, we seem to see sort of the possibilities of him moving around and just doing stuff from such varying angles. What do you like about the way he's playing right now?
Like I said, we knew he was always a great talent. He came into camp with a chip on his shoulder and a little bit of an attitude, and you start to see him develop into a football player and start to understand what we've been telling him about how to move around, how to play in different positions. And he's got such a quick first step, and he's a guy who loves to play, but he's quiet. He's really quiet. So, you know, I think he's just, everything's starting to click for him. And it's, you know, there's no ceiling for the guy. There's no ceiling for him. I mean, he is a legitimate talent.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, Dan, our last couple questions. Our next question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Jim. Tyron Irby, he obviously had that fumble return. What have you kind of seen from him throughout this preseason and these 2 weeks?
Another, you know, he's a quiet guy, right? He's just trying to learn his way, coming from JC. I mean, our culture has really enveloped him. I think that's the great thing about what Coach Gundy and Coach Glass have built here is that the culture can carry you along. So, you know, I feel like the guy's still just getting his feet wet. You know, I think he's going to be a great player for us. But he's really just getting his feet wet, and you'll start to see more and more from him as we move on.
Did you think he was going to get caught on that return? He almost did.
I don't think I really want to say what I think at the end because, yeah, he was tired. He wasn't carrying the ball very well. Those are moments in my life where I kind of see my whole life flash in front of my eyes. You know, everything kind of slows down. And, you know, I'm in the box now, so nobody can hear me. It's like yelling at your television. You know, it's like, you know, finish, put the ball away, you know, that kind of stuff. But he got in, right? They can't take it away.
That's all that matters in that situation. That's all that matters.
We can coach from that. We can with peace and love, we can just coach that and say, you know, everybody look at this. Let's just do better next time at finishing and securing the ball.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
I love how you delivered that. That was like so dry wit, but awesome. Our final question is going to come from Joseph Fazio from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Joseph.
Hey, Coach, no, you guys were able to get a lot of pressure on Jared Dagey, especially from players like Calvin and Amon. Just what do you think of their two performances getting, you know, combined 18 tackles and 3 sacks?
Amon is, you know, he's the cog that runs our defense. He understands exactly where to fit. He was not happy with his performance last week. I mean, it was fine, you know, but he expects a lot more of himself. So we talked about him, you know, he's best when he's playing instinctually, you know, when he knows the play before it happens. And I think you saw that a lot today. I mean, he was tuned in. Calvin is, man, he's just such an interesting player because he has a great first step. He's got a nose for the ball, but, you know, he's been out for a year. So I think it took Calvin maybe a game to get back into the flow. And I think, you know, with him and Trace, we got something going really good.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Well, Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking a little bit of time to hang out with us. Congrats on the win.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care. Have a great night. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you.